Hey friends, this week we're gonna go over firmware. And the reason why is because the three headphones that I generally am rocking with, which is the Sennheiser TW2s, the Jabra 75T Actives, and the Nuraloops, all got pretty significant firmware updates, and I've gotten a lot of questions on the various videos that I've done on them. So I thought it would be a good exercise just to sort of update everything and see if anything's improved over time. It will kind of run through one at a time. I will compare them a little bit at the end, but hopefully we'll get better performance out of all of these, and I'm going to fall in love with them even more. The Jabras were probably the easiest to update with their no-nonsense app and their 15-minute downtime for the upgrade. While there are many minor updates related to connectivity, the major ones that were important were the My Controls and My Sound editions. The My Sound gives you more control over your gestures and also lets you segment behavior by usage of media and during calls, which is a wonderful addition. This really helps drive home the fact that these are the king for power users. In terms of the My Sound feature, it seems that Jabra took a chapter out of Nura's book, albeit more simplistic and more manual. The setup asks a set of questions and makes sure you're in the right listening space to get optimal results. Once you're all set up, it will start driving tones through your ears one at a time. It will send a series of varied frequencies through the earbuds, and you will click when you hear the tone. After processing your responses from both ears, it will configure your My Sound hearing profile. Since there was room for error here, I did do it a couple times to ensure that I knew what to expect, and I was zoned into the listening. So the Jabras, again, they're a solid performer. They sound great, they're very convenient to slip in and slip out, and the firmware update did add some features. However, they didn't really impact the battery all that much, so I'm still able to use this. So again, if my Nuraloops are dead, I easily grab these for my next option, just because they're easy to fit and they're no nonsense, and they can switch between my computer and my laptop like seamlessly. So if I'm doing multi-device things, it's definitely these guys. In terms of the new features, I mean, I didn't really notice. I mean, they did say that the Bluetooth improved. I couldn't really find any way to test that really well. Still just as reliable as it was before. And oh, that My Sound thing. My anticipation there is that it's supposed to be similar to like the Nuraloops Auto Acoustics. Did I notice a difference? No. However, there is something coming up. So I did find a firmware update that is incoming sometime in October, I think late October. Check the screenshot. But it will be introducing active noise canceling, which is going to be very, very interesting because I might actually use this more often. Again, they are coming out with an 85T and an 85T Active, which will have better active noise canceling. I think you'll be able to scale it, but they're going to use the microphones that exist on the 75T and the 75T Actives to allow for active noise canceling. Again, they won't have levels like the 85T, but it will have on and off. So there's potential for more isolation coming. Just gotta wait for that firmware update. But I was trying not to do more videos on this stuff, but I guess I'm gonna do another video when that comes out. But keep an eye out for that if you do have these 75Ts or you're interested in them. Active noise canceling is coming. The Sennheiser required both app and device updates, and this was by far the worst update experience of the three. It projects around 50 minutes to update, and I had issues with the timer increasing.
So that was a f***ing lie.
On top of that, I had issues with the update timing out, and I had to start all over from the beginning. Pretty lame. After all that was updated, you can see that the biggest update was its ability to switch connections through the app, which dramatically decreased the device switching time. This was a welcome change, but still not quite flawless due to slow switching. I did notice there was another update while shooting this video, which added some quality of life improvements. So I updated before finishing up the final part of these headphones. The Sennheiser TW2 update, both of them. So I didn't really notice anything majorly different. There was a better performance inside the app. In the old firmware, like the very first one that I got, the switching between apps wasn't even there. And then the next firmware, they add the actual thing inside the app, so then I could switch between my different devices quicker. However, when you did switch, it would actually disconnect the Bluetooth and then reconnect to the other one, and it would actually tell you that. It would say Bluetooth disconnected, and then it would say Bluetooth connected once it was reaching the other device. This one's a little bit more seamless, so when you click it off, there's low latency, where it just switches pretty quickly. So it does behave faster than it did before. It's not quite as seamless as the Jabra 75T, just because that one I can just play music on another device and it will swap immediately. So it's a little bit smarter. This one's not quite as smart, but the app got a lot better and that latency is not there. In terms of everything else, the sound, there is a slight difference, at least in terms of my ears, where the vocals seem more pronounced. So not necessarily just treble, but like voices in general seem more pronounced than they were in the neutral mode before. And I checked just to double check that I wasn't in some kind of weird setting. I was neutral, but that did end up, being a little bit more upfront. However, the mids and the bass is still tight. There's still a nice signature overall. Just the vocals are just more present from what I've seen. So that's a big change. But the real test is going to be around the battery life, and we will test that tomorrow. So it's 7:30 right now. This is usually when I start my day, but I usually take my first couple calls on speaker just so I can lay down a little bit. Yeah, but once 9 o'clock hits, I'll start using these. For now, meeting time. So the meeting ran over a little bit, so it's currently 9:38 and we have 100% battery. I just threw these guys on, so let's see how long they last. The reason why I look way more awake is because the meeting was so long I decided to get a jump rope session in. But yeah, let's see. So, basically it's 12:26 and I got my first battery charge warning from the headphones. Just an update. And at, what is it? 12:30. They crapped the bed. Right as I started my meeting. So, I gotta charge these. That was only a few hours. So, despite the firmware updates and the application being updated in terms of battery life, nothing was really improved. There's also some sound things that I noticed during calls, but we'll get into that. For now, I have a meeting to do, and I'm switching back to my Jabras. The long-anticipated Nuraloop update. And they bring a lot of stuff that we've been asking for, which is great. And it's on the lower end of the update range at about 20 minutes. So get into that app, update those Nuraloops, and check out the new features. So from the Nuraloops perspective, I think that they've done more flashy updates. They are updates that are needed though, and things that were requested from them by their users. So that's the reason why I think that they're the most impactful of the 3 that we've evaluated. From my perspective, the updates were also very strong. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, but essentially the addition of the manual on and off was probably the biggest thing that the headphones needed, because simply putting them on your heads, you wouldn't know if the initiation sequence started, and a lot of people were complaining that they're just not turning on, or they're not turning off, or they'll stay on even if they're off my head. So they were working on tweaking around that, and they have improved. Again, there's still the automatic mode, it still works, or it's still there. They didn't remove it, but it does function better. However, again, there's still reliability issues that I saw. So they do have now a manual mode, and that's usually what I rock with now. It's a simple, you know, press to both ear tips or ear pads, and it'll turn on and turn off that way. So for me, that was great. It took a little bit of getting used to. Like the first time that I put it on, I activated it. You know, I used it for a day, and I used it the next day, and I put my earphones on, and I was just like, why are these not working? It's because I forgot. It's because
Y'all must have forgot
that they're manual now. So I put them on, thought about it for a second, I was like, oh crap, manual mode. So I turned it on manually and it worked perfectly. And again, this works great for reliability. I haven't had any issues with the manual mode, so that's definitely a big plus there. The other thing that I like about it is that with that mode, they kind of put like a Netflix and chill mode in there, where it's like, it asks you, like if there's no music or no media running through it, it will ask you, do you want to continue listening, or do you want me to be on? Because it doesn't detect anything, and you can click to confirm that you're still there. So like, you know, if you're in a conversation or you had them on and idle for a bit, they will confirm with you before shutting down. So that's always a good feature, and I appreciate that they put that consideration in there. But with that, because I feel like they add that feature, I feel like the earpads are way more responsive now, which sounds like a great thing, right? And it is. Like, I don't really have any missed taps. It's very easy to understand, single, double, dial, whatever. The tones are all there. Again, great. However, I do feel like they're way more sensitive. So again, when I'm doing pull-ups or hangs, my shoulders sometimes do hit the ear pad, and I had to, it skips the track or whatever. So that's kind of annoying. But again, it's better than the ear pad not responding. And then the other one is like, again, like when I have it hanging here, just down, if it has skin contact, it's just gonna be beeping and booping. So like if I have one ear cup in or ear pad in and I'm talking to someone, it'll just start skipping tracks because it's touching my skin. Again, I don't think it works that way if you're just clothing in the way, but yeah, in the summer, or what the remnants of summer, it is yeah, I don't want these headphones just because they what do you call it? They click. So my suggestion is, if you do want to take one ear cup up, just take the earbud out and let it hang off your ear, because you'll just skip tracks or activate modes based on what your settings were. After that, the biggest one that I was requesting, and they did, is a double tap. So not only have they put the hold feature for the manual on and off, but they've also implemented the double tap, which is pertinent for letting me use this headphone without having to look into my phone. So now I have skip track forward, skip track back, and then the volume on this side. And on this side here, I have, what was it? I have play pause, and I have immersion on and off, and I also have the dial to dial in like different levels of immersion. So between those two, that's basically all I need. It gets me everything that I would need to do on my phone or with music, and calls all in here. They're not quite as sophisticated as the other two competitors, because the other ones have all the same gestures plus a triple tap. And again, the triple tap's good, and it would allow for a little bit more things, especially if you're going between phone calls and media. But it's not a deal breaker, and it's definitely gets me 95% of what I need. So I can't complain. Overall, I think they've done a really good job, and they've also made like slight quality of life updates. So again, the Bluetooth seems to be a little bit more consistent indoors, as well as, what is it? There was one more thing. Oh, call quality, really good now. There were some hiccups before, but maybe that's just the improvement of the connectivity. But the call quality is great. People continue to say that my voice sounds good on when using these, as well as the manual audio mode. Again, I didn't listen to it before, so I don't know how that improved, but it does sound great. Like it's a good analog option, especially if you're going to be traveling in the future or something. It's going to have no latency, but if you also use more high quality audio devices, that audio cable is going to be good for you. Again, more musicians and audiophiles will appreciate that, and it is a noticeable difference from the Bluetooth experience. So definitely keep an eye out on that if you're really into music and you have a 3.5 jack somewhere, or a device that can take a 3.5 jack. But yeah, I think they did a good job. So overall, they've all gotten new features. Some of them are gimmicky, some of them improve things. But overall, I think obviously the biggest one that had the most improvements is going to be the Nuraloops. They've just added a lot of features that their customers have been asking for, and it was in no detriment to what they had already. Again, some people called it buggy. To me, it was an evolving product, but they've listened pretty well and they've gotten it done. And I do think that those are going to continually be my daily driver, especially with all the added features that they've done. However, no knock on the Jabras. They're still doing pretty well. They had tried adding more features, but overall it's still pretty good. The sound is strong, and I think the sound signature is slightly tweaked, better to my ears at least. And then in terms of the Sennheiser, they are... They've tried. They've gotten the app out there and all that other stuff. But overall, I don't think it's compelling enough for me to recommend it or change my recommendation on those, because the battery life is still trash. And again, I can't listen to it, or I'm constantly charging it. It's not really good. So despite some, day in the life improvements that they've done in terms of the app and some of the connectivity, it's still annoying with the battery. So again, the TW2s, while some of you really like them, they're just not really working for me. So that's basically everything on firmware. If anything else comes up, I might do an update, but I feel like I've drained content from these headphones in particular, plenty. But if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I can try to get something of value to you, hopefully. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for subscribing. I know that we're super close to the 500 mark. I hadn't been posting over like the last week, so it was cool to see that people are still engaged with the videos and subscribing and doing all that sort of stuff. So please keep it up. Almost at 500. I'll try to figure out something for 500. I don't know, maybe like a podcast, or maybe, I don't know, some kind of product. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But 500 is a big milestone for me, and it's halfway to where I want to be in terms of, this year maybe. But anyway, if you guys liked what you saw and you want to continually keep up with me, please comment, like, subscribe, do all the things that you normally do on a video that you like and love, and I'll see you very shortly. To my new subscribers, thank you so much. Appreciate ya. So last minute add-on. Also, if you guys feel like reaching out to me on Instagram directly, feel free. A few people have done that already, asking questions or commenting on my setup, or, just having a conversation. I'm totally down for that stuff. So if you feel like you need to talk, reach out. Don't be shy.